£50 million and the Dean Huijsen to Real Madrid deal is done. But what makes this a blockbuster transfer isn't the fee, it's the decision behind it. A 20-year-old player, courted by Premier League giants with lucrative contracts laid out like a red carpet, said no to all of it. He chose to return to Spain and wear the royal white shirt instead. In a football world dominated by agents' fees, bonuses, and bloated wages, Dean Huijsen chose a path few dare to tread. He chose the dream over the money, a dream named Santiago Bernabéu. If you find the content engaging, captivating, and helpful, don't hesitate to hit subscribe. There's even more exciting stuff coming your way. Fabrizio Romano dropped his signature "Here we go" line alongside the confirmation. Real Madrid have reached a full agreement to sign Dean Huijsen. The deal is complete. Huijsen is undergoing his medical now and will sign a 5-year contract running until 2030. Real Madrid will pay Bournemouth £50 million. Real consider Huijsen a top talent, and Xabi Alonso personally requested his signing. When Huijsen arrived at Bournemouth in July 2024, few could have predicted that less than a year later, he would become one of Europe's most sought-after centre-backs. The £12.6 million deal Bournemouth struck with Juventus looked like a sensible gamble at the time. After all, Huijsen had only made one senior appearance for Juventus and 14 for Roma, not enough to make serious waves. But wearing Bournemouth's red and black, he exploded onto the scene. In the 2024-25 season, he played 34 matches in all competitions, scoring 3 goals and registering 1 assist. At first glance, his stats may seem modest, but his reputation was built on more than numbers. His positional awareness, decision-making under pressure, and ability to intercept passes, often against the Premier League's top strikers, showed maturity well beyond his 20 years. Analysts noted that his successful challenges and reading of the game were comparable to William Saliba, one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. Additionally, Huijsen's ability to play out from the back stood out in Andoni Iraola's progressive system at Bournemouth. His pinpoint long passes and wide switches frequently broke through the opposition's first line of press, allowing Bournemouth to control games. In fact, according to Opta, the team ranked 6th in expected goals this season, demonstrating they dominated matches more than their final league position suggests. With Real Madrid's defense ravaged by injuries, Eder Militao, David Alaba, and Dani Carvajal all spending long spells on the sidelines, signing Huijsen wasn't a rushed decision but a carefully planned move. Real didn't wait for the summer to trigger his release clause. They acted early to register him in time for the Club World Cup in the US next month. Once the £50 million fee was agreed, Dean Huijsen officially became the most expensive defender in Real Madrid's history, surpassing the fee they paid for Eder Militao from Porto in 2019. In an era where young footballers are increasingly valued like financial assets rather than people, Huijsen is a rare exception. He didn't chase the highest salary, wasn't swayed by promises of guaranteed starts, and ignored the flashy marketing pitches from Premier League clubs. Instead, the 20-year-old chose a quieter, wiser path to return to Spain, where he grew up, where he believes the club can help him grow as a player and a person. According to Sky Sports and the BBC, about 7 clubs approached Huijsen in early May. Chelsea were the first to make a formal offer and even proposed higher wages than Real Madrid. Liverpool were reportedly his preferred Premier League destination if he had stayed in England. Arsenal, Newcastle, and Tottenham also expressed interest. But rather than opt for the easy and financially secure choice, he turned down those offers and took a harder path, one without guarantees of immediate game time. One laden with the pressure that comes with wearing Real Madrid's iconic white shirt. His calmness amid the transfer storm earned him even more respect. In an interview at Bournemouth's training ground, Huijsen said calmly, "I'm very relaxed. I don't really pay attention to all of it. Now's not the time, I'm just focused on finishing the season well. My dad is my agent, he handles everything. I don't read anything, I don't think much about it. I just focus on playing football and working hard. Those are the words of a 20-year-old. Yet his mindset and composure reflect a level of professionalism far beyond his age. While Premier League offers promised money and central roles, Huijsen chose a team where he'd have to fight for his place, competing with Antonio Rudiger, David Alaba, and Eder Militao. He knows no spot will be handed to him. He must earn it. And strangely enough, that's exactly what attracted him. According to Fabrizio Romano, Huijsen agreed to a starting salary of £7.5 million per year, around €9 million, with bonuses potentially raising it to €11 million. For a centre-back who hadn't yet featured for Spain before 2025 and only recently rose to prominence from Bournemouth, that's a fair, yet far from excessive, package. Chelsea or Liverpool could have outbid Real. But Huijsen didn't care, because for him, money isn't the compass guiding his career. Dean Huijsen's story is ultimately one of passion, long-term vision, and ambition. Players like him remind us that sometimes, choosing right is more valuable than choosing rich. Real Madrid are entering a new era, on the bench and in the boardroom. With Ancelotti set to take over Brazil, the club's stable cycle ends, and Xabi Alonso ushers in a bold new chapter, young, disciplined, and ambitious. Huijsen is one of its foundational pillars. Real Madrid sealing the deal before the summer window officially opens isn't a panic buy, it's a deliberate strategy led by Alonso. According to multiple sources, including journalists Fabrizio Romano and Matteo Moretto, Alonso personally contacted Huijsen to convince him that the Bernabéu isn't just a stadium, but a place to build a legacy. When a manager, even before formally taking charge, names you as the first piece in his defensive rebuild, that's a true honor. And with Real grappling with long-term injuries to David Alaba, Eder Militao, and Dani Carvajal, having a young centre-back who can start immediately while growing into a long-term leader is a strategic gift. Huijsen is not a backup option, he is the answer Alonso was looking for. A modern centre-back, composed on the ball, quick to read the game, and a natural leader. From his development at Juventus to his time under Jose Mourinho at Roma, Huijsen has been forged in competitive environments. His composure under pressure in the Premier League this season shows he has not just potential, but real maturity. It's worth noting that while Real Madrid didn't rush, they acted decisively. CEO Jose Angel Sanchez and head scout Juni Calafat, architects of signings like Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Endrick, personally led negotiations with Bournemouth and Huijsen's representatives. This isn't a short-term deal. Even the plan to bring him to the Club World Cup in the US shows that Real are investing in both the present and the future. They want Huijsen to integrate with the squad now and be ready to lead the backline in the 2025-26 season as Alonso's project kicks off. These aren't quick-fix signings to appease fans. This is part of a long-term plan, and Huijsen has been chosen to stay until 2030. Amid all the doubts about whether young players pick clubs for money, fame, or social media clout, Huijsen made a strong, mature choice, a club with vision, a coach with a plan, and a willingness to start over in the toughest footballing environment. Dean Huijsen isn't a media-made star. There were no flashy highlight reels, no over-the-top fanfare on social media. But sometimes, it's decisions like these that shape the biggest turning points in modern football. At 20, when most players are still chasing wage promises, Huijsen chose the harshest path to prove himself. There was no red carpet, no guaranteed starting spot, but there is a manager who sees him as the future. A system in need of a new leader. A footballing philosophy waiting for him to carve his name into every match.